Okay, on a lot of small cars you might notice that the air conditioning gets kind of a nasty smell sometimes in the summer if you got a lot of humidity. So you can spray it out. Now I'm just using this stuff from Walmart, this disinfectant spray. It's just basically generic Lysol. You can buy stuff at the auto parts store, which I don't know, maybe it's actually better, but it costs like 3, 4, 5 times as much. Okay, there's 3 intake vents under the hood that you can spray it in. You can spray in a whole bunch if you want. I mean, you can go through half a can or more, you know, a whole can if it's smelling bad. It's just, you got to let it air out. Okay, and I didn't mention before, you want to make sure you're not on recirculate when you're spraying through the vents on the hood. Like there, you will, but if you go up to any of these others, it'll turn that off. Okay, now the intake vent for recirculating under the glove box, obviously on your passenger side, back under here behind this. Now mine, I just popped out by hand. You can use a little flat tool. Since I've had it out before, it popped out pretty easy. Okay, after that, have to take the glove box out. Okay, the instructions I've seen for taking the glove box out show you squeezing the sides in so that these pop out and then pulling straight out, which didn't work good for me. What I ended up doing, kind of by accident, was I just kept pushing downwards and it popped right off. If I tried pulling out, it wouldn't do it. Okay, next we have to remove a cover. And as you can see, there's a little blue electrical plug there. So next we have to remove this little blue electrical. You actually unplug it. The blue part stays on. And it unplugs. And you have to remember to plug that back in. If you don't, I'm thinking it has to do with the temperature control. If you don't, your fan will either run full blast or it'll run full hot. It won't let you control the thermostat. And then, let's make sure we get the right socket here. So the screw head is going to be a Torx type. It's not a Phillips head. Now in my case, I left a couple of them off when I did this before, so I just did the one, and then I can swing the door. But there's actually 4 screws. One down here, one up here, and 2 up top. And some of them are a little bit hard to get to, so I kind of shortcutted it a little. Now there's a filter up in here. I'd already removed it. But when you flip this door out of the way, there's a slot up here, and this just slides right in there. And this is really flexible. You end up having to bend it around to get it in there. And if this thing gets all dirty, and especially if it's wet, it'll get mildewy and it'll smell all skanky. And they're a little bit hard to find, a new one. I've seen them for as much as $35. I think I found this one on eBay for $18 or something. Okay, now this one here, actually if you try to spray in it, it blows back at you. But this, you have to access this. This is how you access the filter. So, but you can't really spray the chemical in there while the fan's running. It'll just blow right back at you. Okay, so the actual inlet, see, I'm looking in the hole where the glove box was. You see that little light blue spot? That's one of those little things you buy to put in your vents. Well, I put it on the inlet. It's right behind the glove box. If you have the fan running, you can feel it pulling air. Okay, for this part I'm going to set my control on maximum AC, so it's on recirculate. Turn fan on high, and then spray it in that intake. There you can see it now. It's a little fan up inside the glove box hole. And these vents right up there pull the air in, so I'm going to spray it there. And I've also replaced my cover here. And I'm going to go ahead and plug this baby back in too. So I've got the wire plugged back in here after I put the cap back on. You got to make sure you do that. You'll know it if you didn't. It'll blow hot air. So now all I got to do is spray my disinfectant up in here into that intake. And it'll recirculate through the system and help clean out any funky stuff that's inside your vents and everything. Now if your drain's not draining, it'll, you need to get that cleaned out. That's done from under the car, and really to do it you need to have the car on a lift. If you run your car with the AC on for a while, you should, in your park, you should see it dripping right under the firewall between the engine and the compartment, kind of like right under the gas pedal and brake almost. But the car sits so low it's hard to get to. You got to have someone with a lift if it's clogged up and not draining. And it may take several minutes before it starts dripping. Okay, to show you where it should be dripping, you can see the wet spot underneath the driver's front wheel there. That's from the air conditioner drain. Now I spray this stuff in here. I use a lot of it. And if you buy the can of stuff at the auto parts store, it's not near as big as this 19-ounce can from Walmart. It's maybe half that size at best. And they tell you to spray like half of it in through the engine compartment side and the other half in here. And then of course it's really strong smelling inside, and you let it recirculate for 10 or 15 minutes with the windows up and you outside. And then you roll the windows down, put it on fresh air, and let it all air out for another 10 or 15. Just whatever you need, take it for a ride, because it smells pretty strong, so you want to make sure you air it out real good. Just wanted to mention, as long as we're looking at this, your fuse box is behind the glove box as well, with the fan just to the left of it. Okay, now we'll just pop the glove box back in. Okay, to put the glove box in, you got to line up these little sockets here and here and here, along with here on the bottom of your glove box compartment, right there and there, and over there. It's a little awkward, but all you got to do is get it lined up and push inwards. Okay, it took me a minute or two, but I found it's easier to get this glove box back in if you do this part first. So I got this in there, and then it made it easier to line up the bottom. And then I just put my hand in the glove box and pushed in, and it snapped right on.